We will get started in just a few minutes. She said we were going live. I think she was going 5 minutes before. Is it not working? Okay, check it out. Is this working? Yeah. I heard that. Everyone can hear me.
Oh, testing. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Um, Apologize. John wanted to do this, and he is probably the most competitive person I have ever met. And he really wanted to kick this off, but he actually is in the process of trying to sell his house so that he can move to Chandler and be a resident of Chandler. So he has the excuse of leaving or not being here today. But so I am a competitive person as well. I would say like John is probably like this competitive, and I'm like this competitive. So you're going to get a little tampered down competitive person today. So again, welcome everyone to the 2026 Move at Maricopa County Movement Challenge. And I just want to thank you all for being here today. So I just wanted to recognize as well that this is more than just a kickoff. It's really a regional celebration of wellness. So we have the opportunity to really connect and have some friendly competition. And I wanted to just briefly shout out Thank you to all those who made this possible today, employees, Lisa in particular, our wellness coordinator, partner organizations. We'll talk about who exactly we're going to be competing against this year. And then again, guests, thanks all for being here. So what is Move It Maricopa County and what is it all about? So this is a city versus city challenge where we compete. And I know some of you have participated in the past and some of you are new. You do have an app that we're going to talk about today that you would download and it keeps track of your activity. It's more than just walking, but you can also count different activities. Like I did some weightlifting today and it converts the hour of my weightlifting into steps, things like that. So it's awesome. The goal is simple. It's move more, support each other, and have fun doing it. So just a little bit of history and background about this program. It started in 2018. And since that time, participants have logged over 5.2 billion steps together. That's an average of more than 750 million steps per year. And last year alone, we have had about 1,200 participants. And then as part of that competition, um, the jurisdiction who has the most steps gets to have the bragging rights for the whole year and gets this wonderful, is this an actual real shoe? It is. That's painted, it is painted gold. So, so awesome. So that's what we want. So who's competing this year? So these are the cities that will be competing this year: Buckeye, Chandler, Glendale, Surprise, Goodyear, Tempe Schools, and a special welcome to the Gila River Resorts and Casino. That they will be joining us for the first time this year. The challenge runs from January 20th, so it started today through February 22nd. Movement includes steps, and as I mentioned, converted activities, and then you can also have team as well as individual participation. So encourage you all, if you want to join a team or create a team, to do that as well. You also, if you do it, encourage you to log your activity consistently and walk. If you have an opportunity, one of the things that I like to do, especially during this time of year, it's beautiful outside. So if you have an opportunity or have regular one-on-ones with either your supervisors or staff, encourage you to have those meetings outside while you're walking. It's, again, one of my favorite things to do this time of year. If you log on and participate, the goal and aim should be about 7,000 steps daily on average. So if you're going to commit to it, don't hold us back by logging in and walking 2 steps or forgetting about it, and then we lose because of you. Okay. So 7,000 steps on average. Again, the challenge is all about health, connection, and energy, and then showing up for yourself and your team. Just encourage you to start strong today. One of the things too, this is kind of new this year, as I mentioned before, John is super competitive, and I am too. But we do have a team that we're calling the City Manager Stompers. And so this year we're challenging everyone to meet or beat the city manager's stomper team with weekly average steps. If you beat us, you'll earn some raffle tickets and some bragging rights. I will admit that I logged on and to the app yesterday, and as of today, I have 12,000 steps already. So here we go. Let's go. But again, this is a wonderful, fun way to stay active, connect with leadership, and keep the momentum going over this challenge. So with that, I will turn it over to Lisa for a little more detail about the program.
All right. Good morning, Chandler. Woo! All right, let's get going. So I'm very excited to have you all here today. Thank you for coming live. For those of you that are live, you know that you make sure that you did scan the QR code. Did everyone scan the QR code? Because you will get some extra steps. For those of you joining us virtually, you will see about halfway through this presentation a scan QR code so that you can also get points. But we did make it a few minutes in so that so you'll stick with us. All right. Yes, we know how it goes. Yeah. All right. So, but before we dive in to talk about the app, I want to take a moment to recognize the people who are setting the tone for today. We have an incredible video montage that we're going to play for you. So, those of you that were in the montage that are here, I see two there, I see there. If you want to stand up, I know you hate being recognized. You told me that earlier, but we're still going to go. All right. So we are going to play that. And also Julie Carpenter, if you don't know her in media, she helped put this together. So without further ado on that.
Stepping up out on my feet, track my steps, log my minutes. 6 weeks strong and we won't accept defeat. Cities and schools in the game. Each new day gotta go full blast. Once you start, keep on going. Walk or run, skip or jump all around. Stretch or swim, just keep your steps growing. Moving Maricopa, it's the thrill of the stride. Rising up for the crown and the glory. With our fitbits and watches, we go toe to toe in pride. Pushing farther each day for the golden shoe story. On the field, in the gym, coach or player, still counting. Track your steps, don't give up. Take the lead, wear it with pride. We're all fighting to win. Nothing gonna show victory. We want that golden shoe. We want that golden shoe. We want that golden shoe.
All right, let's give it up for those champions. Woo! A lot of work into that one. Okay, we'll be sending that around so you can share that with all your teams. I know that's just what you wanted. All right, let's go back to this. So, need my glasses. So, our agenda for today, we had the kickoff video. So, my good friend and colleague, Allie, is going to join me. So, Allie is here from Glendale. Yes, for Allie. So Allie is, can you say the founding person that created this whole STEPS challenge, activity challenge. So we're thrilled to have her here. So thank you for
in
coming.
hostile territory. Thank
In
you for
hostile,
allowing
yes,
me into
yes,
Chandler.
yes.
And this, by the way, is my shoe. So
Yeah. Not used, right?
City
no?
of Glendale, I want my shoe back. But Chandler, you've definitely taken good care of it.
Great, thank you. We'll take care of it again this year. All right. Buckeye, that one's for you if you're watching. All right. So, and also we have Chris Powell here. He will be coming up in a little bit. So we're thrilled to have you live. So thank you for coming. All right. So to start, here's your chance, virtual attendees. You have 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. They're all scrambling for their phones. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I will show this again. So if you missed it, it will be coming again. You'll get 100 wellness points, the easiest points you got. All of you here live will get 200 points. So what a bonus. What a bonus. All right. So you want to kick us off first? Sure.
All right. Well, you've already heard the dates. So we started Game On right now, and we go through February 22nd. And just so you remember that, it is the end of the Winter Olympics as well. So you see we have our winter sports theme. And as you heard, you'll be tracking steps, activities, everything counts. And for your team, the goal, or for you individually, the goal is 238,000 steps, so 7,000 steps a day. We'll announce the winner on Friday, February 27th. So you'll be able to track steps through the 20th, and then you'll have a couple extra days to get your steps all up to date, and then we'll calculate. All right. So we already mentioned total steps, but there you see the number. So over 5 billion steps, which is incredible. We've moved over 16, almost 17,000 people. And again, you can track on the website or the mobile app, and then you can see again how the leaders go. And Glendale, we're sadly missing off that list, but Chandler, you're pretty dominating it. No, that's the winners, Lisa. No, you got the right one. So, and again, you'll see 2 leaderboards, which sometimes is a little confusing, but each program will see all of its individual steps. So you'll see how you guys are doing against your colleagues. And then again, you could also set up teams. And then you'll see how Chandler is doing, and Glendale and Goodyear and all the other organizations, how we're doing on that program versus program leaderboard. All right. And then here's our competitors, as you already heard, and a look at what the challenge map looks like. And again, we welcome the cities of Buckeye, Chandler, you're here. Glendale, I know we've got a group watching. Also Goodyear, Surprise, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and Tempe Elementary School District.
All right. So now we're just going to do a quick overview of the app. How many of you are already signed up? Woo! How many had trouble signing up? Oh, impressive. That's why you're all signed up, because no trouble. If you have any trouble, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I have a pretty good track record of getting you connected. Sometimes I just wait a day and ask you to try again, and it works. So you can try that one on your own as well. All right. So getting started, the QR code that I have out in the hallway, as well as this, you can use that to get started and sign in or sign up. If you go and use this link, it'll pretty much just ask you your name and to create a username. The username is public, so do not do something you do not want to be seen by the public, okay? And follow the prompts. You complete it. You'll join the Winter Sports Challenge. You will auto be entered into the program overall challenge, so you don't need to do that more than the individual challenge. And then you'll download the mobile app, sync it to your fitness tracking device. These are the main ones that work directly with it: Apple Health, Samsung, Health Connect, which is Google Fit. So if you did Google Fit last year, Health Connect now replaced Google Fit, okay? And then you can use pretty much the ones that work more seamlessly are Apple, Fitbit, Garmin, and Samsung. But if you have a different one, typically you can connect, if you're Android, to Health Connect or else to Apple Health. If you need help with support, you can on the app, if you click on the 3 lines at the top. I know those are called something. I'm not sure what it is. Hamburger? Okay. And you contact support. You can do it right through your app. Now, this is the leaderboard that we all know and love. This is from last year. If you remember, we had quite a competition with Buckeye and Scottsdale and Tempe Elementary School. So this is an example of last year, although now it looks different. And I'll show you where we were at 8 a.m. this morning. Look at that. City of Chandler, 123,000 steps. Woo! And it looks like Gila River is going to be some additional competition here. Although Buckeye may have looked at this, because when we did this again an hour ago, Chandler, 338,000. Buckeye, 102,000. Tempe Elementary, 98,000. City of Glendale, 49,000. We're friends for now. Yeah. All right. So this is what you'll see if you go under the challenge. You can scroll down and see where we are against competition. We will be posting it online. And then if you do need some extra incentive, we do have outside activities. There is a City of Goodyear walk happening February 7th, February 14th. Tempe Elementary School has one, a fun run. City of Glendale is a little after our challenge, but it is still a fun one. I did that last year or 2 years ago. And then City of Chandler, again, beat the city manager team. You will be entered to win raffle prizes, which are pretty nice prizes, and we'll pull those weekly. So those, we will also be doing weekly walks with city manager and city manager team members that we'll do for downtown Chandler, as well as 1 or 2 at Armstrong Way. So if you're there, you can join us and you get entries into the raffle. Any questions? No? All right. Then without further ado, I am thrilled to introduce Chris Powell. Do you want to be up here when I read about your nice
Sure.
history here?
Oh boy.
All right. Yes. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Chris Powell is widely known as the transformation specialist and host of ABC's hit documentary style series, Extreme Weight Loss. So, check it out if you haven't watched that. He is a 2-time New York Times bestselling author and appears regularly on nationally syndicated television shows. He was born in Mesa. Too bad Mesa's not on this team anymore, huh?
I know, right?
Yeah. And after moving around during childhood, he returned to the Valley to attend ASU and earn a degree in exercise science with concentrations in biomechanics and physiology. Very impressive. In response to the devastation brought on by the COVID pandemic, Chris developed Move 1 Million, a nonprofit intended to bring movement and mindfulness to the world. Move 1 Million was launched right here in Arizona and has taken off across the globe and is now being done by over 100,000 people daily in 76 countries. So Chris is also the creator of Transformation, which I hope you're going to mention at least today. I think it's going to
talk about it. For sure.
maybe at the we have time at the
If
end.
we have time
right?
at the end, yes.
A groundbreaking, fully participatory transformation show experience where you don't just watch the journey, you live it. Participants follow real people through their raw, real-life transformation stories while joining the journey themselves. With the tools, coaching, and structure to document their progress along the way, every member has the opportunity to become part of the show, their story unfolding alongside others in a nationwide movement of hope, health, and lasting change. So, Chris, I will pull up your presentation and turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. All right. Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Let's try one more time. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Yes. Oh, so much better. Okay, fantastic. All right, we're going to have some fun today because, as you can hear from my bio, I am devoted to movement and I'm devoted to teaching other people to move and spreading it because it changed my life and I'm such a huge believer in it changing everybody's life. I'm on a mission to positively improve 1 million lives around the world. And so this is why I love working with cities because y'all have access to a lot of people, but it all starts right here with you. So I want to talk about the key to thriving and why movement is so important. And I know, guys, this isn't like just some sort of PSA, and I'm not going to sit here talking about a bunch of stuff that we already know. So that's why I'm going to make it through some of the first slides relatively fast because we know this stuff. I want to get into the nitty gritty as to why we don't move eventually. So, look, we've got crazy busy jobs. Unfortunately, most of our jobs, even in the city, I know granted there's some folks that get up and they move around, and those are the ones that are clocking a ton of steps for us. But everyone else is like this. All day, every day. Show of hands. How many people have one of those jobs? Yes. First of all, thank you so much for signing up for this because I know it can be challenging because your colleagues and your coworkers, especially the ones that are out and about, again, it's easy for them to clock a lot of steps. It seems to be a little bit extra for you because you, from here, how many hours a day, you now have to devote that time to getting up and moving around. But unfortunately, regardless, we know that a sedentary job takes its toll and we can't be our best selves. And if we can't be our best selves, we can't serve anybody else. So it costs all of us. This is what it's going to cost us. We talk about, just the sedentary habits, what they affect. And again, y'all can read the screens. We know this stuff. Ultimately, if we don't move, we're going to get sick, we're going to get tired, and it's going to cost us our quality of life, especially as we get older. It's more critical now that we start moving now. We start setting that foundation now because that will extend into our later years so we can legitimately live into our best years the more we move. And that's why I'm such a huge proponent of this whole concept of Move at Maricopa. And Allie, thank you so much for starting this 7 years ago. and getting everybody moving because it's to set the foundation. It's not just about, at the end of the day, hint, hint, it's not about February 27th, it's all over with and you don't have to do 7,000 steps a day anymore. This is supposed to be a jump starter to get everybody moving because I want everyone to pay really close attention to how much better you freaking feel between now and February 27th. Just pay attention to your energy and your mental clarity and your focus and all of these different things. You can't deny it. So and I know today's day one, just pay attention. And you're gonna feel so freaking good, you're not gonna wanna go back. And that's the point of this whole thing. And then you're gonna wanna, by the way, then you're gonna wanna enroll the people around you because you want them to feel as good as you do. So by the end of today, I would love for everyone to have a much better understanding of how your brain works, how to improve your mental clarity, your focus, and a lot of other benefits that movement's gonna bring to you. And then some strategies in order to get you moving, which is gonna be critical. So let's just talk about the mind-movement connection. Because the thing is, from the neck down, none of this is gonna move if we don't get this right first. It's all starting up here. All movement starts in the brain. So, and again, I'm gonna just cruise through this real fast. We know, movement, all kinds of mental benefits, all kinds of physical benefits, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into the nitty-gritty now. Why don't we move? I've been working out for 30 years, and I don't know if you're like me, but I just looking around the room, I can tell there's some active people here. And I know a lot of times you think, well, I like to work out. Yes, we do like to work out. But I can tell you just from my own personal experience, rarely will I ever, even though I will move myself into a gym or I'll get outside and I'll go on a run, there's always that part of me that doesn't want to do it. Anyone else with me? Thank you for being honest. Yes. Most of us don't want to move. And by the way, that's normal. We're not supposed to want to move. But let's get down into the nitty-gritty of this. Okay, so we've got this really cool mechanism in our brain called the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. And here's what it does. Has anyone here gone through a workout and you pushed it and you found yourself like this individual in the bottom left-hand corner who's like, right? When we're there, we usually feel pretty good because we just did it. But what happens is that pesky little mechanism in our brain remembers that feeling. Does it feel good when your muscles are burning and you're out of breath and you think you're gonna pass out? Has anyone ever felt that from exercise? Oh, come on, be honest. Who has felt that from exercise? Okay, thank you. We remember that. And that feeling, though, it's a survival mechanism that we have in our brain, and it remembers that feeling of discomfort. It is natural for it to store that in its memory, so it goes, oh my gosh, I remember that feeling. But the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex is not afraid of that feeling. It just remembers it and goes, ooh, wait a second, I was in a very uncomfortable place then. And so you will go back to that place. However, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex sends a signal down to the brain to this thing called the amygdala. Is anyone familiar with the amygdala? It's the emotional center of our brain. It has no reasoning at all. It's completely irrational, completely emotional, and it's the part of us that gets really scared. So the moment you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out and go on a run. When you think about that run, you think about, oh, man. And then all of a sudden the amygdala fires up and goes, this is terrifying, I don't wanna do it. Anyone else feel this? Have you felt this? Of course. You're supposed to feel this way. This reaction is natural. If you feel this way and you're hesitant to work out, or let me flip the script real quick. Does anyone here just come flying into the workouts or flying into the gym every single time? And if you are there now, that's a really good thing. Does anyone have that kind of drive and motivation? Because even me, again, I've been doing this for 30 years. Yes, I work out every day. I can't think of a time I really wanted to work out. I want the benefits of the workout. I want that feeling afterward, but I don't want to get in there because guess what? My muscles burn and my lungs burn and my heart's beating fast. I did cardio sprints on an assault bike this morning, and just walking in the garage, I was like, oh, God, I don't want to do this. And then, of course, as soon as I finished, I felt miserable, but then 5 minutes later, I was like, oh my God, son, let me take you to school now. Let's go. And I felt great. So you never want to do the workout. Again, you ain't broken. This is totally normal. In fact, when you feel that way and you think, oh, I don't want to push away from my desk and go walk 4 miles and get my, 8,000, 9,000 steps today. It's the last thing I want to do right now. It's hot outside. It's da-da-da-da. That's your DACC, remembering that, firing up the amygdala. Just understand this is your beautiful brain in motion doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So what do we do about that? Well, here's the kicker. If you don't move, you won't move. And this is also, it's all neurochemistry. It's all the way that our brains are wired. This is how it works. Okay, so that amygdala is a really powerful part of the brain. Again, it is there for survival. It has kept us alive. It's the only reason we're all here today is we do have an amygdala. And it has kept us alive because it has prevented us from stepping into a lot of very dangerous situations. However, there's this downward spiral. If you don't move, even when you know how good exercise is for you, how many here know how good exercise is for us, right? There's a bunch of slides there, but we've been hearing this for years. We know how good exercise is for us. Then the big question is, look, we know what to do. Even when it comes to nutrition, we know what to eat. Why don't we do it? Right? So we know how good it is for us. So here's the problem. If you don't move, as much as you know how good moving is for you, what happens is that it validates the threat that the amygdala is saying, you're going to feel really uncomfortable. And by the way, a lot of times subconsciously in that sense, in that feeling of discomfort, especially when you're breathing fast, your heart's beating, there is a slight, sometimes there's a fear of death because this is extreme discomfort. And a lot of times people end up getting scared in that place. Again, we're not doing that, we're walking, but still it prevents us from doing it. So when you don't do the thing, when you don't put your body into motion, the amygdala goes, I was right. It validates that threat and the fear grows bigger. And then you don't move again. And it validates the threat and the fear grows bigger. Here's a question for you. How many people here are active on a regular basis? Awesome, good. I'm talking to you now. How many here are active on a regular basis and you were once pretty severely injured? Okay. And in that injury, who here did it prevent from moving for quite some time? How difficult was it to get back into the gym or get back into movement after you took a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks off? Did you want to go back? No, the more time, exactly. No, you don't. The longer you take off, the harder it is to come back. How many have felt that? Yeah, especially for people that don't like to move. And all of a sudden you get into a groove. And maybe you're on a weight loss journey or you're training for a 5K or a marathon and you do it and then all of a sudden it's over and then you don't do it for 1 day and then 2 days and then 7 days and then a month goes by. How many here have been there? Yeah, guess what? That happened. You didn't move, validated the threat. You didn't move again, validated the threat, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The sooner you can get back, if you get back in 2 days, it ain't that scary. If you take a week off, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, the last thing you want to do is get back into movement. How many of you have felt this? Thank you. Thanks for all the participation also. I really appreciate it. But I hope now you're starting to understand why. It's natural. You're not broken. You're wired this way. I got a surprise for you. I brought in a box of gym shorts, t-shirts, and shoes for everybody. You guys ready? You guys ready? Let's do this. We're gonna start clocking some miles right now. Okay, yes, I'm joking. I was hoping you would believe this because I wanted everyone to just kind of feel that little bit of agitation, like, oh. Because quick story. I've worked with people through the journey of transformation for quite some time. I started with my best friend who was 630 pounds at the time, helped him lose 400 pounds in 2 years. Changed his life, changed my life. And then I went on to host the show on ABC, Extreme Weight Loss. And so the folks I was working with there were 400 to 600 pounds. Some were mid-threes-ish. Anyway, right off the bat, we actually talk about this. And we, instead of a 1 mile run, we say, okay, 7 minutes of burpees. And actually, we have everybody stand up and go outside, and we do 7 minutes of burpees. And these individuals, 300 to 600 pounds, First of all, we teach them how to modify the burpees. We teach them all this, but this is at the very beginning of their journey. Can you imagine the fear? I mean, how many of you would do 7 minutes of burpees right now? Do you know how brutal that is? Do you know how uncomfortable that is? How painful it is? Your muscles are burning, your lungs are burning, your heart's beating out of your chest. It's a long 7 minutes. But there's a lesson in it. And the lesson is, and we'll get around to the punchline of the lesson. But the biggest thing is to feel that agitation, the fear. And right off the bat, people start making excuses. Well, I can't because of my knee. Well, I can't my shoulder. Well, I haven't moved in 10 years. Okay, I hear you. Let's modify it. Let's go ahead and do this. And you find an answer for everything. Okay, well, no, I can't because, and they'll start thinking of any excuse why. Again, this amygdala fires up. And I just taught them about the amygdala, and immediately they become victim to it. So as much as I'm teaching this to you right now, when you're in it, you're going to feel it. So I hope you recall this conversation and you can actually identify it for what it is and look at it. You're not a victim to it. Look at it with childlike curiosity because it's your amazing brain doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Something really cool, though, happens. If you can disrupt the fear response, and then from there, when I say disrupt the fear response, it's simply catching it, being aware of it. It's the 3 R's of habit formation are reminder, routine, reward. So you need a reminder, something, and I hope y'all come back to this. Sometimes people will use a rubber band as a reminder of, oh, this is actually happening. Something that's going to snap you out of it and say, I understand what's happening in my mind right now. Then you actually have to go through some sort of routine that's going to put you in motion. Why do we do that? Well, something really cool happens in the ventral striatum, and that's where there's a neurotransmitter called dopamine, right? A lot of people associate it with reward. It's not. It's actually a neurotransmitter of motivation. And so you need that little bit of dopamine, but dopamine is directly tied into movement. So there has to be a little squirt of dopamine into the system in order to get you from still and scared into motion. There actually has to be a decision made that moves you into motion. And once you're in motion, all the energy that's going to the amygdala, the fear center, gets pushed back to the motor cortex. And once you're in motion, you stay in motion. It's the craziest thing. Don't take my word for it. You'll have to actually experience it. And then once that actually happens, once you get that dopamine, it starts this domino reaction. If you don't move, you won't move. But then a body in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside unbalanced force, of course. And it's true in physics, and it's also true with our own neurochemistry, which is absolutely brilliant. I did pull up a study. It was a really, really cool one that was done. And it goes back to what I was saying before. And that as much as you know movement is good for you, you actually have to face it. You have to face it in order to extinct this fear of movement. And this is the beauty of walking, because it's not, you're not in the gym doing HIIT workouts or anything. You're doing something that the human body is made to do. It's probably the friendliest form of movement that you could possibly do in your entire life. And again, you can do this until you're 100 years old. But I'm going to read this. Without the exposure of the feared activity, exercise in this case, the brain doesn't have a chance to experience the lack of real threat, which is necessary for the fear extinction. Extinction requires facing the feared stimulus without negative outcomes. So you actually have to do the thing. You have to go walking without the negative outcome that you think you're going to experience, and you're not going to experience. But your amygdala will make it bigger and bigger and bigger until you do it. So without those negative outcomes, allowing the amygdala and then other areas to learn that that threat is not genuine anymore. That's what's stopping us. It's a perceived threat. How many of you feel better after workout? How many of you have ever regretted a workout? Okay, good. I was just testing you out there. You never regret a workout, but you're so scared to even start. And as soon as it's done, you go, oh, I'm so glad I did that. I feel amazing. You have to do that over and over and over again to show the amygdala that threat is not real. So there's a saying, action conquers fear. And this is the lesson that I teach all my people when we do 7 minutes burpees. I say, you're going to be terrified early on. Not after 7 minutes, you're not going to feel better about it. You're going to feel better about it 30 seconds in. And they're like, 30 seconds in, I'm going to be in the middle of my burpees. Guess what we do? We start everybody off, 7 minutes of burpees. And again, these individuals, I mean, it's hard for them to do burpees. They don't believe that they actually can. We teach them how to modify it. So some of them are doing it modified off of elevated surfaces. Nevertheless, we put them in motion. All of a sudden, once I start them off, I mean, you can imagine, they are terrified, and they're kicking and screaming and fighting, and the amygdala's fired up. And then go, 3, 2, 1, go. Everyone's together. There's a secret to this. So we get everybody together, and we say 3, 2, 1, go. Everybody starts off together. And they start doing their burpees. And all of a sudden, 30 seconds, I stop the clock and go, stop. Barbara, how you feeling? She goes, oh my God, I'm doing it. Joe, what's going on? He's like, I'm good. I can do more. Jerry, what's up? He's like, no, start the clock. We're doing this. Where's the fear? And then I said, who wants to stop? Not one person wants to stop. I didn't make this stuff up, guys. This is textbook. It's just the human body in motion. And it's the human brain processing different things in different states. So the human body, when it's sitting, doesn't want to move. It's a survival mechanism. When it's in motion, it will actually remain in motion because the dopamine is there and there's something else that's really magical that's happening. They don't want to stop. And these people were doing everything they could to stop until they were 30 seconds in. They still had 6.5 minutes ahead of them. And they went, oh my God, I can do this. And they kept going and going and going. This is a way bigger challenge than all of us are facing. We're walking. But if you ever feel scared of a workout, I hope now you're starting to understand why, and why all of a sudden, once you're actually into it and you're actually doing it, action conquers fear. And it goes for anything. The tough conversation that you don't want to have, the workout, I mean, you name it. Action conquers fear. You put your body in motion and the mind will follow. Something also really cool happens, and we're gonna put our bodies into motion right now. We're gonna do 5 squats. Cool? Everyone agree? We're gonna do 5 squats. Cool? All right, so here we go. Everybody, stand up and sit down. There's 1. Good. And up. Good, there's 2. And sit down. Good. And up. There's 3. Good. And sit down. And up. There's 4. Good job. And sit down. Okay. Is anyone familiar? Gotcha. Is anyone familiar with the Zeigarnik effect? So the Zeigarnik effect is when you set out to do something and you have a set number that you're actually trying to achieve. All right, go ahead and you can finish your 5th squat. Let's go. And that's the Zeigarnik effect in motion right there. Because the thing is, when you set out to do 7,000 steps, or you set out to do 50 push-ups, or whatever it is, then as soon as you start doing that and you start to see progress toward it, you want to close the loop. Apple did it so brilliantly. They're literally using the Zeigarnik effect right there. They're trying to get you to close the loop. Did anyone feel agitation when I stopped you at 4 and you're like, where's the 5th? Let's go, right? You committed to doing 5. Yeah, there's something to it. And by the way, again, it's your brilliant mind in motion. And so that Zeigarnik effect is part of this positive loop. Just like there's a negative loop if you don't move, there's a positive loop if you do. And so you start off, there's a dopamine release, you feel good, you feel accomplished because all of a sudden you're doing the thing and you want to keep moving and you see progress and you just keep moving and the Zeigarnik effect is in full effect now and you see more and more progress and you see yourself getting to where you want to go. It feels good and it's supposed to feel good. Again, you're not broken. This is completely natural. Okay, so let's go back to those tactics. So it all comes down to that moment from stillness into motion. There's a lot that can get us there. There's actually several different mechanisms, and they actually have different weight based on their ability to get that big dopamine release and actually get humans into motion. I'm going to actually have, this isn't part of this right now, but I'm going to give you guys 3 options. There's 3 options. What are the strong, and we're going to put these in order of power to move, to get your body into motion. Would it be moving with others? Would it be music? Or would it be a countdown? 3, 2, 1, go. So real quick, which one do you think is going to be the strongest to move you? Is it going to be a countdown? Is it going to be music? How about moving with others? There you go. Moving with others. The moment you actually get a bunch of people in line together and you say, go, and you see one person step forward, everybody steps forward. And because we're social creatures. And so there's a massive boom, there's a massive release of dopamine, and dopamine then starts the domino reaction for everybody. And everybody moves into motion. This is also the beauty of what we're doing here. Because now you're rallying with your comrades, your teammates. One person steps into motion and everybody starts stepping. And before you know, when you start stepping, you don't want to stop stepping. You don't want to start. You're natural. It's supposed to happen. But when you do, everybody goes. Countdowns are also they're powerful. Music is actually extremely powerful as well, especially how many of you in the gym or whatever, or you're getting ready for the race, and what do you wait for? You wait for the big buildup and then the bass drop, right? And then you go. And in that buildup, remember, our brains, we seek patterns, right? And so that's all, the brain is always looking for patterns. And so it gets a pattern with a beat, and it gets the buildup, and it's anticipating, and when the bass drop hits, bam, big dopamine release. And that dopamine release moves you. That's why it's easier to move on the bass drop. No one takes off on the race while it's building up. It's like, da, 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 and then you just take off. No, it's da, 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 boom, and then you go, right? Completely natural. Your brain is always wired to look for those things, to anticipate, and when as soon as it hits the bass drop that it's anticipating, there's that big reward. Release, go. Okay, little digression here. In Japan, we're going to do this, 10 minutes. Okay. In 1928, the emperor, Hirohito, he was really struggling because Japan they were growing, but they were also dying so early. Average life expectancy was 41 years old. And he was running into a really big problem. He needed his people. He was a big believer in exercise for two reasons: to help his people move more, but also to unite them, to bring them together. And so upon his coronation ceremony in 1928, he took radio technology from the United States, and he actually created a 3.5-minute music piece and routine that they put radios in every school, every factory, and every corporation. And at 6:30 a.m. every single morning, the entire country of Japan stood up and went through a 3.5-minute routine. And it was the same, it was a standardized routine that everybody would move together. How many of you were actually a part of my presentation last year? Anyone? Oh, so do you guys remember this? Okay, we're doing it again. And here's the best part though, it worked. So by 1955, Japan was the healthiest country in the world in just a few short years. Completely changed the country, and it was so powerful at bringing everyone together, at uniting everyone, because he moved everyone together, just like we were talking about, moving together. When he did that, when the United States actually occupied Japan in 1945, we prohibited Ragio Taiso, which means radio calisthenics. And so the country could no longer do it because he actually used it to unite everyone so strongly. That's how he brought the country together. And so we came in and we actually banned Ragio Taiso, and then we allowed it back later. In fact, I think it was by 1951 or 52, they actually changed it a little bit because it was a little bit too militaristic early on, and they brought it in, changed some of the movements, and then the United States allowed it back into Japan, but it was that strong. 3.5 minutes of movement in the morning at 6:30 a.m. in every school, factory, and corporation. So we talked about this in the bio. During the pandemic, I ended up creating something that was actually inspired by Ragio Taiso because our kids weren't moving in schools. And so, you just see all of the devastation that was happening with their mental health, their physical health. And I thought you had to think of some way to get these kids moving together, to unite them again, so that because everyone was feeling so isolated. So how could we move them, and how could we make them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves? So that's when I created Move 1 Million. But what the Emperor did so beautifully is, why did he set a warm-up to music? That's what it is. It's a 13 movement warm-up. Why did he do that? Because music anchors movement into your memory. There's actually a file that I wanted to play right here, but it's not going to play. Real quick, if I started playing the Macarena, what do you do? Yeah, exactly. Music anchored movement into your memory. We all know what the Macarena, right? The moment the music starts playing, you know the moves. And so what he did is he just took 13 movements, did it to music. Everyone repeated it every single day. That's why today, even though it was 1928, today, here we are 90-something years later, 27 million Japanese citizens continue to do Ragio Taiso every single day, because when the music starts, forevermore, they know a proper biomechanical warm-up, and music moves them. They're doing it together, and then now they move their body, and once their body starts to move, they continue to move. There's no doubt, and it's understandably why Japan has been one of the top 5 healthiest countries in the world for the last 7 decades now. Yeah, because it's the national movement of Japan. And so many, millions of their citizens start every single day moving, and they keep moving. So we're going to go through this really quick. I'm going to take you all through the movements. And at this time, rise, please. Spread out as well. Feel free to spread out, just because we're going to be swinging our arms. I'm just going to guide you guys through it. And you know what? We don't even need to, just to be sensitive of everyone's time, we don't need to actually go through the music or anything like that. I'm just going to take you guys through the 13 movements real fast. If anyone's interested, I am going to show you some slides real quick of what the impact that it's had in our schools and in some of our cities. And so if anyone's interested in bringing it to your city, it's a 2.5-minute warm-up. We shortened it from 3.5 minutes to 2.5 because no one's got time for 3.5 minutes these days to move their bodies. And so try to meet them where they are. Real quick, follow along with me. I want everybody to roll their head to the right. Single roll. Good job. Now to the left, single roll. All right, eyes up on me. Arm circles out to a Y. Good. Now into an X. This is why you spread out. Good job. Now out to a Y one more time. Now into an X. There you go, as we open up those shoulders. Now hug stretch. Open up that chest now. There you go. Watch out for your neighbor. This feels good. Just stretch out here. We're gonna do this 8 times. All right, now there's a song. It goes head, shoulders. Okay, good. You know this one. Okay, we're gonna do a variation of that. It goes sky, thighs, toes, knees and toes, knees and toes. So here we go. Ready? Sky, thighs, toes, knees and toes, knees and toes. One more time now. Sky, thighs, toes, knees and toes, knees and toes. Good job. Okay. Now from there, we're going to move into a rotational movement here. We're going to twist up to the right, then down to the left. Good. Up to the right, down to the left. Good. 2 more. And last one, back to center, other side. Here we go. We're going to go up to the left, down to the right. Good. Up to the left, down to the right. We've got 2 more here. And last one, back to center. Good job. Now just march it out. Pick those knees up high. Let's warm up those lower body muscles. Good job, everybody. We do this for an 8 count. Now, real quick, can you pat your head and rub your stomach? Okay, good job. I got a few of you there. Okay, if you can do that, that's a coordination movement. This is a coordination movement as well. Step out, kick it back. There you go. So send those arms overhead. Kick that foot back. A little dynamic or ballistic stretch through that quad. Good job. From there, we're going to do something called a superhero stretch. So superhero stretch. And why do we call it that? Once we're here, we go like this. Which superhero does this? Right? Every school I do this now, every kid says Hulk. And I'm like, what? They don't, because Marvel just took off and they just squashed DC, right? And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Come on, bring back Superman. So Superman here. From here, I want you to tighten up every muscle in your body. This is going to be harder for you folks who have got chairs in front of you, but this is what it would ultimately look like. You step it forward and punch it forward. Good. It's okay if you just baby step it. And back, switch legs. Forward and back. Let's to the right. This is a multi-directional lunge. Good. And to the left. Good. And now we step back again. If you got chairs in the way, be careful. Excellent. Last leg. Good. And back. Now jog it out. Well done. You guys are doing great. Now freeze. Show me your hands. Turn them around. Make a fist. Squat down. Stand up. Reach all the way over. Feel stretch down your side. Good job. Back to the center. Other side. Nice. Back to the center. First side. And back to the center. And last one. Now cross your arms in front. Back into a squat. Over the top. There you go. Excellent. This is the final move. 13 movements. And just imagine this being played to beautiful piano music. which it is, and then flex it out at the very end. Good job. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done, my friends. Go ahead and have a seat. All right. Now, typically, I put the whole thing to music, but again, I want to be sensitive of everyone's time. I promised we'd be wrapped up by 11. So, with that being said, it has been really cool to see the impact that it's had in schools. With zero marketing efforts, the thing just took off with teachers talking to teachers, principals talking to principals, towns talking to towns, and it's grown. It's been really cool to see it spread through 76 countries now, and so we ended up running some surveys, and it's been really neat to see, again, the impact that it's had on the kids in schools. But even beyond that, so I know Goodyear. Anyone here from Goodyear? I think they're watching on the live stream. So it was really cool because the city of Goodyear actually adopted this, and they had all the city employees download Move 1 Million. By the way, it's free, and so they downloaded the app, and then they actually sent some of these statistics of what happened between 22 and 24 when it came to some of their days away and the restricted duty stats, which is really cool to see because it was exactly what we actually saw. Even in Japan, when they started doing this, they saw workplace injuries go down. They saw productivity go up. All these things with 3.5 minutes of movement, go figure, of what that can actually do for yourself and for your city or for your school, for your kids. So it's been a lot of fun. This is actually how it's all delivered. There's a mobile app. There's also a desktop group. And so like this is how the kids teach it with the desktop. They actually just download it every single day. They put it up on the projector screen. All the kids move in the classroom. In the cities, they use a mobile app. And it looks like the Brady Bunch. And every single day, there's a brand new broadcast. I'm in the middle, and they'll see people from around the world all moving together around it. So it's been a ton of fun seeing the whole thing happen. If you are interested, no pressure at all, or you go to info@m1m.org. The price is right. Like I said, it's free. It was a service project that I started that ended up getting way bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. So if you're ever interested in it for your school or for your city, it's yours. That's all it was ever supposed to be. So use it if you want to get people moving, and it's a ton of fun. Again, it's not just what we did, but you take all those 13 movements, put them to music, and then there's 2.5 minutes of mindfulness afterward. That's a whole nother conversation unto itself, but it's really powerful and the kids love it. Okay. We're going to blast through this real fast. Average American, 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. I know we're aiming for 7,000 here, which is amazing. And what makes that so special is because anything beyond 4,000 steps, one of the biggest studies of all time was done. I think it was, I don't know, it wrapped maybe 4 years ago or so. Don't quote me on that. But they actually found that for every 1,000 steps beyond 4,000, there's a 15% decrease in all-cause mortality rates. That's significant. That is statistically significant. When you go from 4,000 to 5,000, 15% reduction in all-cause mortality. 5,000 to 6,000, 15% reduction. 6,000 to 7,000, 15%. Like, that's amazing. All the way up to about 8,000, and then they saw the curve start to flatten out a little bit. That's really cool. So when you start walking 7,000 steps, especially when most of us, especially all of us folks who are spending a lot of time in front of our computers, you start walking 7,000 steps a day, you are adding years to your life. The statistics, that's what the statistics say. And by the way, it was tens of thousands of people that they studied over years. And just think about, I mean, you're increasing the quality of your life. You're adding years to your life. Why wouldn't you want to do this? We should all embrace, like we should be so excited to have the opportunity to do this and to understand why we don't want to, but then we to do it anyway because of what's going to happen. Okay, and on top of that, yeah, steps, they're one of the most underestimated forms of weight loss. By the way, I help people lose weight. That's my thing. And transformation, it's a huge weight loss experience for people. I do not allow cardio. There's a lot of reasons why. Well, especially number one, cardio does stimulate appetite a lot, and we're creating a calorie deficit. Everybody loses weight with walking because it's so much friendlier, number one, when it comes to stimulating appetite, because it doesn't stimulate your appetite nearly as much. But also, steps accounts for 15% of your metabolic burn during the day is through non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Just getting up, moving around, fidgeting. all these little movements that we do burns way more calories than a dedicated exercise session in the gym. So if we can actually start to capitalize upon that, upon your steps, you burn way more calories. So it's huge for weight management. Again, that's how I transform all my people. Cardio is not allowed. Not that it's not good for you, it's great for you. But it's also, you're working against it when you're trying to, if you're on the weight loss journey, you're working against yourself if you are doing cardio for a lot of different reasons. Another discussion unto itself. Walking is how I do it. Okay. Set a realistic goal. That's all being done for you. That's another discussion as well. But fortunately, y'all are setting different goals for yourselves. This is wonderful. You can discuss with your peers about how you can do that. Get the gear, use the tech. Consider a walking pad. I do know some cities are not, they don't love, well, I mean, some are for it, some are against it. If you do, anyone here have a walking pad by chance? It's pretty amazing. Love mine. Biggest thing though, if you are using it, if you don't have a rail, if you're using it with the standing desk or rail. What's that? Okay, and is it under a desk or is it just kind of walking pad, just free walking pad? Okay. Just be careful because sometimes you can drift, especially if you're busy, scrolling on your phone. I've got mine underneath my standing desk because I spend about 12 hours in front of my screens every day. End up getting a walking pad, and I clock about 10 to 12,000 steps a day because I don't have the liberty of getting outside. I'm working all the time. I'm constantly building. So I got my walking pad, and it's been an absolute game changer. But if you are on it, be sure to anchor yourself, no matter what, at all times with just touching something that's stable. Because otherwise, the moment you don't, you kind of do one of these things, and you can hurt yourself. So be careful. But one of the best investments ever, $140 on Amazon. I put over 1 million, well over 1 million. I mean, probably a couple million steps on my first one before I burned it out. I'm on my second one now. Few quick tips. We can blast through these. It's all the easy stuff you guys know about. I know the whole thing about parking farther away. We talk about it all the time. No one ever does it. It actually makes a big difference. You'd be blown away at how many steps you can start clocking when you're actually walking from the furthest parking spot into the grocery store and back. It really adds up. It adds up fast. Get a dog walker, like dog owners. They always, because your dog always remembers every single day. When it's that time, your dog will remind you. Anyone have a dog that reminds them when it's time to eat? Exactly. There's a reason why dog owners get more steps than anybody else. At work, walk and talk when you're on the phone, all the good stuff. Buddy system, which is what we're doing here. Absolutely love it. Exploring walking routes. There's a bunch of them here in the Phoenix area. Again, this is all the stuff that we know how to do. All right, guys. This is where the rubber meets the road. Pun intended. Rally your friends. The doors are still open. If you can, remember, the more people around you that are moving, the more likely you are to get moving as well. So please rally your colleagues and your coworkers. Get them going. Let's ramp up these participants and let's blow out the steps from last year. We can do this. So 346,000 total steps last year. Man, I know we can do more than that this year. So it's all up to you. Today's day one. So rally as many people as you possibly can and get out there and start stepping. 5 minutes over. Sorry, we did it. All right, my friends, that's it. Thank you so much. And happy day one. Movement Maricopa. Let's go. All right, guys, y'all got this. Remember, February 27th. It's the end of this journey, but hopefully it's the beginning. It's the beginning chapter of the rest of your life from here. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. And for all of you for coming, if you can come up real quick, I'll just take a picture of everyone that's still here. I know it's late, so if you have to go, please go. But we'd love a quick picture if you can.
I'll turn this off. Go.